There he is again, sitting in the same place. Every evening, he sits there, just watching the road. Who do you think he is waiting for? I think he is waiting for his children. Do they still come to visit him? Not as often as they used to. That's heartbreaking. This house was full of laughter. His wife smiling. You could hear happiness before you even reached the compound. So, what happened? Only God knows. Life changes people.
This house used to be full of life. Maybe they are just busy.
This is the story of a man who gave everything he had to the people he loved most. A husband who believed love was more valuable than money. A father who worked every day so his children could dream bigger than he ever could. He never imagined that one day, the same house he built with laughter would become a place of silence. What happened to this family? Why is the man who gave so much now eating alone? Stay with me until the end of this episode, because this story may change the way you think about family, sacrifice, and love. If you enjoy heartfelt family stories with meaningful life lessons, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Now, this is the story of Mr. Pius.
People often notice when someone is alone. They see the empty chair. They see the quiet room. They see an old man sitting by the window, watching the world pass him by. But they rarely ask, what happened before the silence? What kind of life did this person live before the loneliness arrived? At the edge of a small village, there lived a man named Mr. Pius. To many people, he was simply an old man, a man whose children had grown up, a man whose house no longer carried the same happiness it once carried. But behind his quiet eyes was a story that many people never knew. Mr. Pius was not always an old man sitting alone. Many years earlier, he was a strong young man with dreams. A husband, a father, and a man who believed that the greatest achievement in life was not wealth, but the happiness of the family he built. His hands were not soft. He carried the marks of hard work. His back knew the pain of long days, but his heart remained gentle. Because Mr. Pius was the kind of man who believed that a family should never feel the weight of one person's struggle alone. He owned a small provision shop. It was not a huge business. It was not a place that made him rich, but it was enough to provide, enough to feed his family, enough to keep his children's dreams alive. And every day, he woke up with one promise: to make sure his wife and children were okay. Mr. Pius and Mama Florence did not live in a mansion. They did not wake up every morning inside a huge house with beautiful decorations everywhere. They did not have expensive furniture that people would admire from outside. They did not live a life that many people would call luxurious. But inside their small home, there was something more valuable than anything money could buy. Something that could not be purchased from a shop. Something that could not be measured by the size of a house. Love. Their house was a small calaboose-style home. It was not too modern. It was not a place that would make people turn their heads and say, "Wow, look at this beautiful building." But it was a home filled with love. Florence was a housewife. Every day, before many people even noticed the morning had arrived, she was already carrying the responsibilities of the home. She prepared food for her family. She cleaned the house. She cared for the children. She made sure everyone had what they needed. Her work was not always seen by the outside world. Nobody gave her an award for the meals she prepared. Nobody clapped for the nights she stayed awake when the children were sick. But those small sacrifices were the reason the family continued to stand strong. Mr. Pius saw all of this. He understood something that many people forgot. A family is not built by one person alone. Money could buy food. Money could pay bills. But money alone could never replace love. When Mr. Pius came home, he was not just a man returning from work. He was a husband coming back to his wife. He was a father coming back to his children. He was a friend returning to the people who mattered most to him. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is simply making them feel important. making them feel safe, making them feel like they belong. When Roland was about 8 years old and Edward was about 6, they were still young, but they already understood something very important. Something many children spend their whole childhood wishing for. They knew their father was there. They knew that no matter how busy life became, there was a man who cared about them. A man who listened to them. A man who made time for them. That man was Mr. Pius, their father. To many people outside their home, Mr. Pius was simply a businessman, a man who worked hard, a man who spent long hours at his provision shop trying to provide for his family. Every morning, customers came. Every day, responsibilities waited. There were bills to pay. There were needs to meet. There were challenges that came with running a business. But even with all those responsibilities on his shoulders, Mr. Pius never allowed his work to take away the most important thing of his life, the most important part of him, his family. He understood that children do not only need food. They do not only need school fees. They do not need only clothes and a comfortable place to sleep. Children also need love. They need attention. They need someone who looks at them and says, "I am here for you." And Mr. Pius made sure his children felt that every day. On some mornings, before the sun was fully awake, before the streets became busy, before he opened the doors of his shop, Mr. Pius was already thinking about his family. He would wake up early morning. Sometimes he was tired. Sometimes he had worked late the day before. But when he heard his children moving around the house, when he saw their little faces preparing for another day, something inside him gave him strength. He would help Roland and Edward get ready for school. He would make sure they were clean. He would check on their clothes. He would help them dress properly. He would arrange their school items. He would carry their bags, and even when they were capable of carrying them themselves, he would still carry them. Because to him, those small actions mattered. There were moments of connection, moments where a father was telling his children, without even saying the words, "You matter to me." Sometimes he would personally walk them to school. And to other people, it might have looked like an ordinary morning. Just a father taking his children to class. But for Roland and Edward, it was something special. They walked beside their father. They held his hands. They talked about small things, things that might seem unimportant to adults. A story from the previous day. A question about school. a dream they had, a joke that made them laugh. But those were the moments that quietly shaped their hearts. Because children may forget many things as they grow older. They may forget the toys they played with. They may forget some of the clothes they wore. They may forget many ordinary days, but they rarely forget the feeling of being loved. And Roland and Edward felt loved. They felt protected. They felt important. When Mr. Pius stayed home, he did not behave like someone who was above household responsibilities. He did not believe that because he was a father, everything inside the house was only for Florence to handle. He helped. He cooked meals. He cleaned. He assisted his wife. He spent time with his children. Sometimes he played with them until their laughter filled the whole small house. Sometimes he listened to their stories even when they were talking about things adults might consider small. But he listened because he knew something powerful. A child remembers the person who made them feel heard. He knew that one day Roland and Edward would grow up. One day they would become adults. One day they would have their own responsibilities. And when that day came, they might not remember every detail of their childhood, but they would remember their father. They would remember the mornings. They would remember his kindness. They would remember that he was present. For Mr. Pius, it was never only about bringing money home. A father's role was bigger than that. It was about guidance. It was about protection. It was about creating a safe place where children grew. It was a place where they knew they were loved. Because a child who grows up feeling loved carries something powerful inside him. Confidence, peace, a sense of belonging. And that was a gift Mr. Pius was giving his sons every day. Not expensive things, not a perfect life.
But this is only the beginning. In episode 2, Mr. Pius's sacrifices will become even greater, and one decision will change his family's future forever. Don't miss it. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next episode.